My name is Megan Crane, and I'm a wedding and event planner in Tucson, Arizona. I went to the University of Arizona for college and majored in history and poli-science because I wanted to go to law school, but then I changed my mind. So then I started exploring the event planning field. So no, I did not grow up in an entrepreneurial household. My parents worked 8 to 5 jobs all day, every day, and we didn't really have much of a household full of dreamers, and I don't really feel like I'm much of a dreamer. So becoming an entrepreneur was a risk for me, kind of one I was probably and am still uncomfortable with sometimes. But after college, I worked in the real world and wanted to be able to have kids and spend time with them and do my own thing and be my own boss. And so that's when I decided to take the gamble and work for myself. So I started researching what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be an event planner. And knew at that point I wanted to open my own business, but I wanted to feel like I actually knew what I was doing in the business. My realistic side, I felt like I should know the business inside and out so I can take care of my clients the best that I can. When I got started, I wanted to have experience in the industry, so I worked for hotels as sales and catering manager and event planner. And then worked for some nonprofits, including the National Shoe Retailers Association, doing their educational conferences, and then for the Tucson Museum of Art as their event manager field. So that's why I decided to work for other people first, because then I got to know a lot of vendors and venues and just make better connections in town. And then I didn't know what I was doing, but I got my business license, and the nice ladies downtown helped me figure all that stuff out. Got my liability insurance, and then I even picked up a couple, like 2 free weddings that I did basically for nothing, just so I could add it to my portfolio. And that's kind of how I started, and letting people know in the business who I'd already worked with other companies know that I was opening my own business, and basically schmoozing my way to try to pick up some referrals. So thankfully I didn't really have any startup costs, which is, a lot of entrepreneurs don't have that. So when I started, I was still working full time, so I was making a salary and trying to get my feet wet as a business owner. And I did that for over a year, and really the only reason I ever quit was because I basically had to. It was getting out that I had my own business, and then I was what I already have. But because I haven't run my own business and I don't have a background in business, kind of running the day-to-day end of my business is difficult. I can plan events and design and that kind of stuff, but the financial end of things, I have no idea what I'm doing and always playing catch up on. And I feel like it's still early on. It's only been a few years in it, and every year I can look back and say it's been a learning year. There was nothing in the beginning that I hope this comes out right, that I don't feel like I just failed. It was more of this past year that I feel like I was really growing. Some situations that I felt like, I don't want to do that again, or just learning experiences to kind of grow from. In the beginning, it was so trial and error that thankfully there weren't a lot of errors, and I had happy clients. I'm glad that I kept working that first year because it allowed me to establish a little bit of a client base. It seemed I would have never quit without ever having any clients, because that's a huge risk.
Yeah.
The biggest one was not being able to pay my bills. I have a family and a husband that works off of commission, so we never have a set income per month. And so with him being full-time commission and me technically being on commission, it was a gamble, and that was the biggest one, is quitting my job and not knowing what money we'd have come in, and thankfully it's worked out like it was supposed to. Being an entrepreneur, you work 24/7, all day, every day. I don't take a day off because it's a lot of pressure. Until I can afford more staff, I do everything from our financial and taxes end to the actual planning and design to all of our social media and website upkeep. So you wear a lot of different hats all the time. And so I would say to a new entrepreneur, if you don't have startup costs, you should have a year's salary saved. I did not, and thankfully it's worked. A lot of people locally don't want to train up their competition to basically open their own business. So if you can intern while you're in college, that's great. if you are out of college and you're able to find someone who's willing to let you work with them and train you and everything, that would be awesome. I wish I would have had some of that experience.